What if I were to tell you that you are a cat and you've taken over the world, but the world is not enough? What if I were to tell you that the totalitarian cat government that now rules the globe has handed you a blank check and the authorization to create your own space program? What if I were to tell you that you were on board a rocket ship that is one die roll away from exploding, but if you stay on that rocket ship for just one more roll, you'll change history? Would that make you pause, tuck your hands into your pockets, cock an ear, perhaps imagine just for a moment what life would be like as a feline space explorer? Would doing that awaken within you a desire to try that life, if even just for an hour? Well, I've got a game for you, and it is just as chaotic, exciting, surprising, and fun as you'd hope it'd be. Meet MLEM. Go on, give it a pet. It bites, but not too hard. This is a game about launching cats into space, where they will either colonize distant planets, bringing the glory of cat civilization to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, or gallantly perish as their rockets dissolve into flames. It's also my favorite space game. At the beginning of a round of MLEM, one player will become the commander of the next space expedition, and along with the prestige of that title, they will collect this rocket token. Beginning with them and going around the table clockwise, each player will then select one intrepid astronaut from their personal lineup to add to the expedition, slotting their representative into the next available seat in the spacecraft. When everybody has added an astronaut to the ship, you are ready to begin your travels. Now, spaceships built by humans are iffy, but spaceships built by cats are downright volatile. Instead of levers, switches, and a crying Matthew McConaughey, they're operated using 6 dice. At the top of every round in the expedition, the commander will roll all available dice, then compare the results to those printed adjacent to the rocket ship on the mat. If they fail to roll at least one result that matches, the rocket explodes and all cats on board return to their respective players. If they have at least one match, they can spend any number of dice with matching results to propel the rocket deeper into the inky blanket of outer space. But there's only 6 dice, Jarom, and the outer limits of the universe are 26 spaces away. If you're subtracting dice and rolling the remainder every round, how are you supposed to get all the way up there? The math isn't mathing. And you're absolutely right, which is why afterburners exist. Whenever the commander uses an afterburner result on a die, they move as many spaces as there are dots on the afterburner symbol, and then they keep the die. It doesn't get spent. So using afterburners now means you'll have more dice later when you are navigating through the murky darkness of deep space. Cruising along on afterburners is crucial to seizing the tantalizing prizes glittering in the folds of the universe. Plus, you'll always keep 1 die because that's just the rules. So if the intrusive thoughts win and you spend all of your dice blowing through Earth's ozone, you'll have 1 dice to propel you for the rest of the journey. The life of a space jockey is short, but boy, is it spectacular, and made all the better by the shrieks of your passengers. After moving the rocket, you'll check to see whether you've encountered a moon or a planet. If you have, starting with the commander, each player will announce whether they are going to disembark or remain aboard. If you decide to disembark on a moon, you will place your cat on it and immediately receive the points indicated on the moon. If you disembark on a planet, you will place your cat on the planet, and the cat will start creating a colony that will be scored at the end of the game. And if you decide to remain aboard the shuttle, you've signed up for another round of adrenaline-pumping, dice-rolling action, along with the opportunity to stake a more lucrative claim deeper in space. The farther you go, the more rewarding the planets will be until you get all the way to deep space, which offers staggering point totals to anyone daring enough to venture out there. Every time you're confronted with the simple decision to stay on the spacecraft or leave, you'll feel like you've been kidnapped by a gang of gambling-addicted cannibals who have told you that they'll spare your life if you beat them all at blackjack, and you've been dealt a queen and a 9. Do you keep your hand because really it's pretty good? Or do you say, hit me again, Jack, you meat-loving rascal, and take another card? It's a pint of press your luck moonshine that is as explosive as it is blindingly intoxicating. And there's something about having it all out there that is really compelling. A lot of similar games like to fuzzy up your logic by hiding information from you. Quacks of Quedlinburg has those cloth-covered pocket dimensions. It has the audacity to call bags. Ink and Gold keeps the next cards you're gonna flip over face down. In MLEM, it's all on the table. You know exactly how many points you'll get if you choose to keep going. You know precisely how many dice you'll have to roll in the next round. Minimizing your risk is so easy, but indulging in a little bit of danger just to get ahead is so tempting. After everyone has made their decision, the commander will gather up the dice and roll again, repeating this process until either all cats have left the spacecraft or it combusts. When either of those things happen, the expedition is over. The commander will hand the rocket token to the player on their left. That player will become the new commander, and a brand new expedition will begin. The game is over when one player has placed all of their cats in space, or the rocket has blown up 11 times. You'll then count up scores, and even that part of MLEM is fascinating. Players score points based on their presence on different planets. For each planet, the player with the most cats there scores a heaping shovelful of points. The one with the second most grabs a fistful, and everyone in third scrapes a point or two off the bottom of the barrel. If 2 or more players are tied, you'll resolve the tie by looking at whoever staked a claim on the planet first. Players also score points for each objective they were able to complete during the game, which would have incentivized them to distribute their cats in certain ways, influencing their score. All of the decisions that you've made throughout the game will come home to roost, and they can be nasty, mean, flea-bitten decisions that snaffle up all your food and shred your furniture, but when you see them, you'll have no choice but to say, yes, those are my lapses in judgment. I will give them a home, and your relatives will avoid your house. Or they can be nice, cuddly, and so fluffy. It all just depends on how you chose to play the game. To be on the spacecraft or not to be on the spacecraft will not be the only rub you experience while in the coils of MLEM. Remember how I said at the beginning of the rules explanation that when an expedition starts, each player will choose one of their astronauts to send on that expedition. Well, all of your Catstronauts represent the best of MLEM's personnel, and each of them brings a specific skill to the crew they're a part of. I'm gonna run through all of these abilities so you know what they are. I've gone ahead and embellished them a little bit with some titles that I thought were goofy and fun. The titles are not included in the rulebook. That's just me having a good time. The mechanics, though, are accurate, and each player will have a copy of the same lineup. So you're all getting the same cats. You'll just be deploying them as you see fit during the game. So let's get into the list, starting with number 1, the ODC. When stuff gets real and the shuttle encounters catastrophe, this guy is prepared. Instead of drifting back to your board when the rocket blows up, he lands on the nearest planet or moon. Perfect for high-risk missions when death isn't just a possibility, it's expected. The Q Cutter. She can cut in front of you, she can cut behind you. This cat disrespects your furniture, your carpet, your curtains, your personal space, but there's nothing she disrespects more than lines. When you decide if you want to land or remain on the ship, you can opt to choose ahead of the person in front of you or after the person behind you. She's had 8 lifetime bans from Disney World, and she's planning to get number 9 while in line for Space Mountain next summer. Lock up your pantry because the chonk is here. When this cat exits the ship, they take a whole die with them. The Wonder Cat! He needs the fabric of space and time like a quilt. Once per mission, when the commander rolls the dice, this cat can reach into the fabric of space and time and pull from it a dice result of 1. He'll snatch your mission from the brink of disaster. Sat Cat If SatCat joins the mission, the rocket gets a head start, launching from the satellite in Earth's orbit instead of the planet's surface. Moon mogul! Plop this bro on a moon for double points. Planet pirate, slap him on a planet for double points.
And then there's the mysterious monkish hermit, prophet of deep space. She's mystical, shrouded. She's a priestess of Ikanaz Cheeseburger. He of 50,000 litter boxes, whose hairballs are what mortals call planets, the ancient god that dwells at the heart of the galaxy. And she boards this spaceship on a pilgrimage to commune with him. Should you successfully deliver her into his plush bosom at the core of deep space, she will grant you double points.
Choosing your explorer requires you to pay careful attention to the decisions your opponents are making. Did someone put the Wonder Cat on the crew? That's a guaranteed dice roll of 1. That's really good. Maybe this could be the mission that gets your deep space prophet to her appointment with he whose name must not be spoken but meowed. Or maybe you can rally your friends together on a crusade to deep space, convincing them to cobble together the perfect team. At this point in my reviews, I'll generally grumble about something that annoyed me with the game before going on to recommend it to a specific group of people. I have no qualifying statements to make for MLEM. I categorically recommend this box to anyone and everyone. The gameplay is engaging, it's a snap to learn, the price is right. If you're looking for a great time with your friends, MLEM won't let you down. If you get this game, share your experience with it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it, as would everybody else who checks out the video. And for all of you wonderful, well-adjusted people in the world who aren't deeply acquainted with internet meme lore, this is what a MLEM is. And here's another one because she's so cute. That's the review. Thank you so much for watching. If you have time and you like this video, please check out another one. Apparently that's how you let YouTube know that our stuff is worth recommending to people. While you're doing that, I am going to drive very safely to the French class that I'm now late for. Thanks again. Bye.